In this video, I'll be checking out the Ottocast Cabin Care wireless CarPlay adapter. This is a unique wireless CarPlay adapter that not only gives you wireless CarPlay to your wired CarPlay car system, it also features quite a cute little owl looking camera that simply attaches to the rear of your car seat or your car interior and allows you to monitor your loved ones in the back seat of your car over a live stream without any recording or uploading for your own peace of mind. It has colour in the day and night vision in nighttime environments, 150-degree wide field of view, and all this can be seamlessly navigated and interacted with whilst you're also operating wireless CarPlay. So a quite unique product and a lot to go over. Let's check out what's inside the box. Okay, so here's what you get inside the box. You get a quick start guide and user manual. There's the cabin care system itself, which is the camera and wireless adapter. You get two means to mount the camera, a USB-A to USB-C adapter for modern CarPlay ports in the car, a USB-A to USB-C lead to connect the camera to a power source, and two fabric attachment ribbons to attach the adapter onto the back of the headrest or your car interior. Okay, so looking over the cabin care then, we've got the camera itself. This is a unique element to the whole product. The main products for wireless CarPlay will be a dongle like the Mini from Ottocast. It's got some branding of the cabin care with the owl on one side. You've got the switch button as well, so that's really handy. We've seen that previously late in last week's video, and the update that brought it out into a much better performing switching experience. So that delivers the CarPlay element, and it's also going to deliver the connection for the camera that's going to operate wirelessly. Camera itself resembles like an owl. You've got one eye being used for the internal camera. You've got a USB-C connection port to power the camera. On the back here, we've got a connection to attach the ball socket of its two mounts. This is also rubberized, which I believe can be removed. Looks like it can. And then it's going to be quite a more boring looking camera there. But if you've got the kids, then this is actually a little bit nicer and a little bit more acceptable for them to see that in the car. And it goes on quite easily back on as well. Now, mounting options, there are two. You've got this one, which attaches to the back headrest arm. If you've got a raising and lowering headrest, that attaches to that. And then that ball joint goes into the back of the lens camera that way, and then you can maneuver it to get the best angle you want. Alternatively, you can use the strap system through these 4 points here to strap it either horizontally or vertically over the headrest, and then attach that onto the ball joint on the back, and then get that attached. And also you have that ability to maneuver it as well to get the best position for you. Now, it doesn't come with a 12-volt adapter to power it. You will have to power it with a secondary source, so you might have to supply your own 12-volt USB port adapter. But if you do have a secondary USB port, you could just use that with the supplied cable and power the camera that way with its attached lead. Now, the lead is very long. It's going to be over 1 meter, so that's going to get you to a decent power source, no problem, and power the camera. And I'm sure once you've got this adapter plugged into your car, you'll be able to interact with this camera, and then it displays alongside wireless CarPlay. So quite exciting. Let's see how well this performs in the car. Let's jump in the Cupra now and see how well this all performs. So I'll see you there. Right, so in the Cupra Born, we've got the cabin care wireless adapter and camera ready to get plugged in. We're going to put this in our USB port first and see how quickly it takes to boot up. Okay, plugging in now. That's us nice and quickly into the main menu interface of the adapter. You can see we're here to select a language first, so we're going to do that. And that's us setting in the main menu. We've got similar functionality to the mirror touch adapter. We've got quick access to exit back to the car system. Up here we've got settings where we can choose the language again. Default open mode between camera or CarPlay. You want to go straight to those particular functionality. Frequently answered questions, user guide and version number as well. And that's the version number that we're currently running. And then on the main screen, we've got our main two menus. We've got CarPlay functionality and the functionality for the camera. So they do overlay over the top of CarPlay, and we'll look into that in a minute. But first, let's check out how CarPlay works. So we're going to go into CarPlay, and it's looking for our Bluetooth connection. So we're going to go into our Bluetooth settings, and here we have the Bluetooth ID. We're going to tap. pair. And that's us into the main menu. And here we have quite a little bit of different UI basically. I've never seen this on my display. It's treating it like a vertical portrait mode. So we've got this bar all the way along the bottom there rather than down the side. Home button is on the right hand side and the time and current signal connection is on the left. You can see that it's not going to be as quick as wireless adapters currently. At least we've got 3 widgets, that's good. It's a little bit laggy though, and that's because it's using like a secondary layer and it's not really going through hardware, because it does have to have that ability to overlay the camera feed. So we are going to be slightly laggy compared to, say, the Mini, which is using the same form factor. It's quite easy to assume it's going to be exactly the same, but it's not. Let's go into maps. Not too bad though, it's not washed out and it's fairly responsive. Can do a navigation test. No navigation on the cluster or HUD, unfortunately. Again, because it's kind of like treating it like an AI box rather than an actual wireless adapter. We are pointing the right way though during navigation, so I would say you've got GPS pass-through at least, so that's good. Check out some audio. So that's the delay of touch input. Wheel controls. Backwards and forwards work okay. Seeking, that is supported. Call button. Hi, this is Anthony from CarPlayLife.com. This is an audio message test using the Ottocast Cabin Care wireless adapter, and this is an audio test. Okay, that all sounds good. No additional gain added. Quality sounds good too using the microphone. Happy with that. Let's do a call test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, call quality is not too bad, and the responsive is not too bad either, so I'll be pretty much happy with that. Okay, so that's CarPlay in a nutshell, really. We've got this little option up here, which is going to connect to the camera, and you can see that there's no Android Auto support either, it's just wireless CarPlay functionality. And generally, it's okay, it's not up there with the most high-end wireless adapters, but if you're using this more casually and more passively, along with that camera, then it's probably not a bad solution. Right, let's check out that camera. First things first, let's get that installed in the back. We're in the back of the car, and in the Cupra Born we've got a solid chunky headrest. There's no separate headrest with rails, so we can't use the rail mount. We're going to be using the strap mount instead. So we're going to pass these straps over around the top of the headrest and have that camera pointing here and out to the back of the car. So remove the camera first, it's a lot harder to do it that way, and then pass these straps through the various holes. And we do have a hole here, so we could pass it over vertically, so we'll try that as well by passing that cable with the Velcro side pointing outwards. Right, so we've got basically like a cross web system, vertically and horizontally. They're stretchy, so they're going to stretch around that headrest, hopefully no problem. So we're going to do it around this end first, and then we're going to do it vertically as well. Right, so that's all tucked in this kind of star formation, and by doing that we can now bring that camera a little bit further down, just like that. So as you can see, we've got the strap system just like that. Probably a little bit untidy on the other side, and just bear in mind that obviously that's going to conflict with your head on the back of it, but they're flat straps and they should work just as well. So next up we have to fit the camera. So we're going to fit it like that. Ottocast giving you a very generous length of cable, I'd say roughly about 2.5 meters. So you're definitely going to get it to any USB port in the front of the car. But ideally, if you've got a USB socket on the back of the car, I've got 2 here in the Cupra Born. They're USB-C though, so we will have to convert that cable into a USB-C. So using another adapter, they only come with one, and you might have already used that one for the wireless adapter anyway. So you might have to buy another one. So we're going to plug that into the socket at the back. The car is still on. Let's see if it actually starts connecting to the adapter, or if we have to do any sort of pairing process. You can neatly tuck this cable down into a much more better situation in the car depending on how your car is. And there you go, there's my feed, and that's me in the back. So that's the camera. It's not as wide as I thought it would be. Apparently it's 150 degrees in its field of view. So I'd say if you were only having one child, I'd probably put it on the passenger headrest and shoot across. You'll get much better angle of someone that's sitting in the other side. So for example, if I were to angle it to the other side of the car, you're getting a much better view of that person in this side of the seat here. But you can mount that camera anywhere you like in the cabin. You don't necessarily have to mount it on the headrest itself. You might have a better location in your car where you might get a much more longer distance shot at the rear seats. And plus, if you've got a bigger car, these seats are going to be a little bit further away from the chairs in front. Right, back to the front. Right, so we're back in the front now, and you can see that the camera is still on the feed here. You can't sort of tap or pan. We've got some options here. So we've got switch to CarPlay. Got that button there will take us back to the camera. Takes a little while to pick up. You've got picture in picture. So you've got tiny CarPlay, which you can still use, which is pretty good. So you can actually run navigation at the same time as seeing your babies or your little ones in the back. And that looks and runs relatively well. Not too bad. Every tap you get that menu. Also you got a picture in picture, which you can drag around and choose how best you want to position that. And basically it saves you sort of doing this or looking in the rear view mirror, see your children at the rear view mirror, and then the children's going to be a lot lower, so you're going to have to sort of go up there and look down. With this camera, you've got a really good video feedback of your child in the back. So that's really cool. Nice feature. What else can we do? Nothing else here other than going back to the main car system. You can tap the camera again. Takes a little while to initiate, and then we're back on again. Here, what have we got here? Here we go. So you got different sort of ratio formats. That was cropping it before. That's much better. You can flip it as well if it's mirrored. There's a rotation option if you were to have it upside down, but I don't know why you would want to have it upside down. You can rotate that camera quite well in that ball joint anyway, so I wouldn't really worry about it too much. You can see in the back seat there, that's plenty of space to see a child. You can try and manipulate it a little bit. The ball joint doesn't give it that much horizontal orientation on that ball joint, so I'm just trying to get that angle of the front seat, and obviously it's on that little bungee cord thing, so you think you've got that angle, and when you let go it doesn't sort of settle. So I can't really bring it a bit further that way just because of how my headrest is positioned. But to get that person full frame, you kind of want to sort of do that. But I'm moving the whole bracket. I'd like to see a bit more bigger, wider, taller even field of view. But the quality's good, I'll give it that. But if I let go, I can't have that camera in sort of this position. If I let go, if you can see their face though, at least, that's probably the best thing. As long as you can see their face, you don't have to worry about their feet. But I'd say that's not too bad. What I'll do, I'll pick up a little friend and see how well that performs on the move. Right, so we picked up our furry friend. There he is. He's over there. And just to mimic how that is with a baby in the back, I have played with getting the right angle. That's as far right as I can make it on my particular headrest. Otherwise, I'd have to like mount it in some other way. Let's just go for a spin and see how well that performs. It's very sunny now, and the camera's handling it fairly well. A bit more better wide dynamic range are probably more appreciated. You can see it's very blown out now at times with the sun. Of course, we've got the split mode as well, which does a good job of like navigation and so on, as well as things like Spotify, for example. That all looks good too. Obviously, it's now cropping that feed, and you can't sort of drag it and choose. It's just literally dead center. So you want that ability probably in the menus to be able to adjust what crop that feed is. If you have to have the baby dead center then otherwise. But it's a little bit shaky, but it's good enough as a glance. And obviously the overlay mode is quite small on a big screen, so I can imagine it be even smaller on another screen that's a lot smaller than this one. This is 13 inches, so a very small CarPlay screen. You are better off using the full screen versions of the feed for both CarPlay and the camera, and just being able to switch between the two if you need to. Right, so we're back. Our baby bear survived the whole trip and the journey, and hopefully that gives you an overview of the Ottocast Cabin Care. Right, so the Ottocast Cabin Care wireless CarPlay adapter currently retails for $109 directly from their site, or $169.99 from their store on Amazon. And I'll put links down below to learn more about this adapter, support the channel, and buy yourself one. Generally, it's always nice to see some innovation in the wireless adapters sector. This is the first I've seen anyone do this, so this is props to Ottocast for trying this type of functionality out. It does piggyback off the existing functionality that they've done with the Mirror Touch adapter, so it is running over a separate layer than doing it just through hardware, so there is a slight delay on interactions for CarPlay wirelessly specifically, but that's the only real opportunity and the only real way to do it alongside such a feature such as this camera system. As their first attempt, it is a decent attempt nonetheless. The camera quality is decent. I think with a lot of feedback we might see a version 2 with all the kinks ironed out of it. Things such as the mounting system could be a little bit more improved. The field of view for me should be a little bit more improved, a little bit wider, a little bit taller in that capture. The ability to touch the screen on the camera feed and be able to navigate around that feed, that could be done through a software update. We do have a crop and a flip. It'd be nice to maybe allow rotation if you want to mount the camera or you're forced to mount the camera in a certain way. As for its quality, it's actually decent. I'd like to see a bit more dynamic range there that we've seen in some dash cameras. We also need to check this out at night, and I'll show you now what it might be like at night time. You are forced to have the object, whether it's a baby or whatever, dead center in that camera feed, because otherwise it will crop it on both sides, and it's only going to show you that viewpoint in the dead center. Because of the straps aren't as solid, you do get a lot of vibration jittering, and it kind of blurs a little bit as well in that feed. But because it's a streaming feed, it's only just to be seen as it streams and not something that's just recorded. I'd forgive it a little bit more that way. But if you're using the bar mount that goes on the back of the bar that's risen from the headrest, then that's going to be a lot more solid, and it's going to not jitter around as much as the elastic straps are of the other mount. So that's probably better if you can utilize that functionality, but not all cars have that functionality, including mine, and you're forced to use the straps. But it's a nice system that they've done with this mechanism. You can pass it through the top there, and you can open up the grommet, the rubber grommet, and actually you've got 3 ways to clamp that down. That's nice to see. So if you've got a very thick stem in that riser for the headrest, it's actually going to accommodate that as well. You could potentially put it in the grab handles, but I don't think that hole is wide enough for that. But obviously a wireless adapter is probably more than half the price, but then you are bundled with that camera. So for $109, it's actually not a bad price, considering you're getting a nice decent camera and reducing the ability to turn around. And you also have that ability for wireless CarPlay as well, if your car doesn't have that wireless ability. So as a version 1 product, not a bad start from Ottocast, and with some genuine feedback from other users, we might see that product evolving in the near future. But as it currently stands, it's not a bad product. All right, thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. If it has, give us a big thumbs up down below, and let me know if you have any questions about the Cabin Care wireless CarPlay adapter from Ottocast, and I'll try my best to answer them. If you like this content and you'd like to support me on my channel, you can do so by sending us a super thanks down below. You can hype this video for free, and you can check out my QR code up here to buy me a coffee, and you can support me there too. I really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and myself and the bear will see you again in the next video. I'll see you later. Bye.